What's up, everyone, and welcome back to Crypto Empire. And this is a special day because it's Sunday. That means it is a Sunday live stream, which means we'll be taking a lot of time to look at what you guys are asking about in the comment section. But of course, we have to go through all of the critical material like we always do, take a look at the charts, and make sure that we are prepared for the week ahead, which also just so happens to be the final few days of the month of June, as well as quarter 2 of the year. So big times right now, and the market's in an interesting spot. We've been range bound, so let's discuss real breakout or another fake out. Let's get into it and start off like we always do with our crypto market overview. Be sure to smash that like button, lads. Let everyone know, including the YouTube algorithm, that you guys do enjoy this content. And of course, I greatly do appreciate all of your support. So smash up that like button. Thank you very much. As it stands currently, Bitcoin trading at $107,000. Ethereum still trading in that $2,400 range. We do have some action on some altcoins on a Sunday. We can see Solana up to 150. That's a big resistance level. Basically every altcoin, they're all at big resistance levels that I've been talking about. And we'll talk about that further, don't you worry. And we'll talk about the scenarios on whether or not we're actually going to break out and pump this week. So looking at the Crypto Bubbles Top 100, we have a lot of green out there, right? Pengu is up 22%. We are seeing meme coins specifically really catch a bid right now. Meme coins are hot. Pengu is one of the best performers, and we're seeing some other meme coins move as well, right? Fartcoin is up 4%, Bonk up 3.6%. Pepe up 2%, SPX 4.5%. So meme coins are green right now. WIF as well, another meme coin, is up 4.5% on the day. So things are moving. Let's get into the charts, lads. So I want to start off on BTC. Again, looking at the daily time frame. On the daily time frame, why are we stalling here at 107, 108K? Why is that happening? Well, it's simple. All we have to do is look to the left. Okay, that first all-time high we made in December over here, in December 16th and 17th, we pumped directly into where price is at currently, into 108K. All right, so this entire level or area we can call is resistance, right? And just look to the left. Every time prices come up here above 108, it spent a very short amount of time and it's been rejected. All right. And we had that first all-time high from the 17th of December that led to the immediate rejection on or right at the 108K level. So that's why we're stalling. That's why Bitcoin is sideways right now for the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days. And we're unable to really get any direction. We're at major resistance. I think that a weekly candle close needs to come in really strong. I think that a weekly candle close needs to come in. Ideally, I know in the past I said this weekly high over here at 106,900, which is basically 107K. But I don't think a weekly close just above 106,900 is going to justify enough. At this point in time, I need to see a weekly close above like 108, above up here, in order to save this. Weekly candle is obviously very strong right now. We have a bullish engulfing candle of the previous week. However, we're still unable to close above any significant resistance, meaning that we're just still range bound. And with that being said, the Bitcoin volatility index is back down to just like the lowest levels it's been in a really, really long time. All right, so the BVOL is back down to Goblin Town at the bottom at support, ready to make a move up again, I suppose, even though all of the moves up in the past have been utter disappointments, only to see the BVOL come right back down to the bottom to support. So we have Bitcoin at major resistance, higher time frame, right? Weekly time frame resistance. We have the Bitcoin volatility index at historically low support And again, with the BVOL, it doesn't tell you which direction price is going to go. It only tells you that volatility is going to come into the market when it increases, when the volatility index increases. The price of Bitcoin, when the volatility increases, could go up or it could go down. It just tells us that we're going to get some action. And with it so low at historical support, we're going to get some action when it makes that move up higher towards resistance. So anyways, yeah, that weekly candle close is going to come in hot tonight for BTC as well as the rest of the market. Everything has a weekly close tonight. And the way it stands right now, I would really like to see, I think this line moved. I'd really like to see Bitcoin essentially close above these highs over here from back in the middle of December, 16th and 17th. Will it happen? Time will tell. We're right there at the cusp of it, and we have the weekly candle close tonight. What I am a little bit worried about is what just happened here in the 1 hour time frame on Bitcoin. Okay, what just happened on the 1 hour time frame is we had this structure, this choppy consolidative structure from last Wednesday. Okay, we were just chopping around, going sideways. Now on Sunday, what happened? We ran the highs. We ran the highs of this consolidation structure, and we've rejected back inside of this range. So this was another failed breakout attempt here on a Sunday, with price just taking all of the short stop losses above this high. Typically, right, when we see a move to grab all those stop losses or grab that liquidity, that would indeed serve as fuel to go lower. So that is something that I am watching for currently, with the weekly candle close, of course, tonight. But yeah, that 1 hour time frame, the run of the highs, we can see it here on the 12 hour, another false breakout. And we're coming back inside of this previous range. So it's really it's unexciting is really the best way to describe it. It's kind of boring. It's very choppy. Very small moves here on Bitcoin. So it's not too exciting. It's quite boring, and we need to see some juice come in before the close tonight, or things could end up dispersing here and we go lower, which is kind of what we've been planning for, right? Right, we've been planning for this 12-hour level down here at 102, 103K. And the way it looks right now, I think we're going to get it. I do. Especially with the run of those highs on that 1 hour time frame. It's not a great look for BTC currently. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to USDT dominance, Tether. So what just happened was, when Bitcoin went and ran the highs, we saw USDT dominance come back into this daily time frame demand zone. On the 1 hour time frame, you'll notice how there's no wick into the demand zone, but I've discussed this before. If you go to the daily actually wicked into it. So what we just had was we had USDT dominance come back inside of this daily demand zone, and we had Bitcoin run the highs. Right, we had Bitcoin run these highs, and it's rejecting. So again, it might seem a little trivial. Oh, some little Sunday move. Oh, a little Sunday move where price just moved into this level and then it's moving out. It's no big deal. But, right, this is how larger moves start. They start on the very smaller time frames, and of course they work their way up. With what we just seen on Bitcoin with that rejection, it could be the start of a larger move down, is what I am trying to say. So with that, where should we expect price to go to here on USDT dominance if the crypto market is going to move down? Well, being that there's an inverse correlation, that means we would see USDT dominance go up. Where would it go up to? There's the 12-hour level, right, hidden behind the fair value gap here. However, it was front ran. And being that it was front ran over here means that it's now less likely to hold. All right, it's more likely to get broken through. Meaning I'm more expecting now the level at 5 or above 5%, I should say. And that level above 5%, if we put a price note there, that's going to start at 5.02% for USDT dominance. And again, this is in terms of percentage around 4% away. If we look at Bitcoin down to that level over here in 102, 103, it is 4%, 4.5% away. That matches up quite well, okay? So that would be good confluence if we did see USDT dominance up here at 5.02% and Bitcoin down at 93 to go for that long. And other than that, if this doesn't stop it, well, you know, we could be expecting another run of the highs, but we don't want to talk about that just yet, okay? We're taking it level by level. We're just taking things level by level. We're planning for the week ahead. We're planning our trades right now. All right, so the most relevant level closest to the current USDT dominance is the 12-hour at 4.9. But again, I gave my reasoning for why I don't really expect that to hold, meaning that 5.02% is the closest level you have to take long trades, to take long entries on you. The level on USDT dominance is 5.02%. Now, if you're bullish right now, okay, if you're really bullish and you think that the market's about to rip and you think it's about to break out, what needs to happen for that to actually occur? Well, of course, you need to see USDT dominance break down, okay? You need to see it break down hard. You would need to see it get through this current level that just provided a bounce at 4.76%. Okay, so for all the bulls right now, you really need to see, I mean, the best thing would be a weekly candle close below, like 4.76% or the monthly open, 4.74%. Right, a weekly close would be super powerful. A monthly close would be even more powerful because the monthly candle is going to close in just 2 days now or 1 day now. Does June have 30 or 31 days? Somebody confirm in the chat. But yeah, I mean, we're right at the cusp of some major higher time frame closures. So if you're bullish, you'd like to see a strong close, and that would be, you know, below 4.74%. And when this thing starts to move down, that's going to send coins very hard, of course. So it's going to start with, you know, just a basic candle closure on the higher time frame below the current support level that is holding up price. Watch it closely, and we'll see how we go. Let's go ahead and move on now, everyone. Let me go ahead and catch up with our live chat right now, guys. Pull it up on the screen. Give me one moment. Give me one. All right, here we are. Let's see what you guys are saying. Shout out to Declan Wyatt. Shout out to Glaucus. Shout out to Madam Butterfly Fashion saying to smash the like, lads. Thank you for the support, Madam Butterfly Fashion. We also got Ghoul82. What's up, Ghoul? He says, smash the like button. The man is the GOAT. Appreciate that, man. He says, what's your take for Solana ETFs? And he shorted Farcoin today at the top. He shorted at resistance. All right, so anyways, a lot of charts, right? Real quickly, if we look at Tau, okay, the main level for Tau is of course that 350. But if we look at what's going on right now in the 1 hour time frame, if you guys have been watching my streams, you know I have a bearish posture currently, especially on coins like Tau, which have been unable to reclaim just this really key support resistance flip for Tau that's right at 350. All right, if you're on TradingView, just drop a line at $350, and you'll see all the support and resistance historically. We also have this daily time frame supply zone. But anyways, 350 is a major pivot on Tau, and because it's trading below it, it doesn't necessarily give me a ton of confidence that this is, you know, in a bullish posture and going to pump. And currently, we have this run up on a Sunday. And we have price coming into, it's just a 1 hour time frame, but it is technically still a 1 hour time frame supply zone right over here that I just put on the chart. look at this block, right? This is for sure a supply zone. Look at the move out of it, telling you, right? There's some kind of imbalance here. More sellers than buyers. Price comes back into supply. It sweeps the high it printed, and it also has bearish divergence. So this is definitely one I've been watching. We have, people watching the stream shorting Farcoin, kind of a similar setup, but not exactly, because Farcoin reclaimed its pivot. Okay, I was talking about Farcoin when it was just here the other day, saying how it was below its important pivot level, which in this case is $1.10. Well, Farcoin did get above it now. Okay, so that is one thing to look on in terms of somewhat of a risk-on indicator, right? I'm sure if you're bullish, you're looking at Farcoin and shaking your head in satisfaction because it just reclaimed a very important support resistance flip level. Right in time for the weekly candle close. But anyways, to the second part of this question, which is actually the first part, what's my take on the Solana ETFs? So the Solana ETFs, what's my take? We have the pump fund launch in just a few weeks away. I want to say like 2 weeks or so. Don't quote me on the exact date for the pump fund launch, but I know it's pretty soon. Also, a lot of anticipation around the Solana ETFs. So basically, we have all these reasons to make retail, right, quote unquote, retail traders. Let's pull up the Solana chart. But we have all these reasons from the Solana ETF approval. We have the pump fund token launch. All these things to make retail crazy bullish. I can already see the tweets on CryptoX. Solana is back, guys. New all-time high is imminent. All this stuff. So my take is, I think that continue to trade Solana, and if you see it pump to supply again on the higher time frames, look to short it basically. Just trade the coin with Solana. Don't become a bag holder because you think the ETF is going to get approved and it's going to go to the moon. That's what I think about the Solana ETFs. Shout out to Glasshopper77. We also have FBS. Let me mute this. And there we go. Now it's tracking along live. So now we have 3 versions of me. Well, this is tripping me out. This is tripping me out. Let's get off that screen. There's too many versions of me on this screen right there. All right. Anyways, I'll look at the chat from my other monitor. That was too much for a second. Shout out to FBS. Shout out to Guts Motors. Shout out to Luis Cordoba. What's up, Luis? Retribution. Thoughts on Simon's cat? I haven't heard about that meme coin since November, man. Let's take a look at it. Well, we talked about Pengu pumping being an indicator for low cap memes. I mean, this thing's in the shitter, right? It's at the bottom. It crashed 99%. It looks like, right? Let's see. 94%. My bad. Not 99, 94%. So my take on Simon's cat is interesting reclaim. Okay, it swept this. So in order for this thing to be bullish, it would have to trade above the previous swing high, which we can put here. All right, mark it out as the previous swing high. So if this thing's bullish, it needs to start trading above this. All right. And once it clears the previous swing high, what's the playbook? What's the game plan? It's always the same. It's always to look for a pullback into a key level. So on the daily time frame, let's say we were to break the previous swing high, what would we do? We would look for a pullback into the key level. Where is it? There's a hidden order block behind 2 fair value gaps. So my take on Simon's cat is, if it clears the previous swing high, long the pullback into here. If it doesn't clear the previous swing high, and instead, because this is technically a supply zone too on Simon's cat, we're on the daily time frame. All right, this is textbook stuff. What is this? This is a rally. This is a base. This is a drop. So this is technically a daily time frame supply zone. Price has just come into it now. So if we end up rejecting out of here, without clearing the previous swing high, I wouldn't necessarily be a longer at this level, right? Because it's not valid. You need to clear that previous swing high first, close above it. So yeah, that's my take on Simon's Cat. It is still in this range. Okay, pretty clear range. So again, if it breaks out of the range, buy the pullback. If it can't break out of the range, well, it likely is going to move back down towards higher time frame demand. And in this case, you know, that's going to be down towards the range lows. So that's my take. All right, let's see. Luis Cordoba asking for seamless. We'll look at that a little bit later on. Shout out to Vincent. What is going on, Vincent? Vincent has a question about treble swap. He says, is it the last chance to buy treble at 38 cents? Why are they waiting for their official out of the closet marketing campaign? App feels finished, so why the wait? I'm not sure, man. I'm not the treble swap team. You have to ask them. I can't give you an answer. I don't know the answer to that. And in terms of the last chance to buy, that's always a dangerous thing to say, like last chance, things like that, because the market usually always gives, no matter what the coin is, more chances, right? For example, back in April, a lot of coins bottomed out, right? A lot of coins bottomed out back in April. Just Tau as an example, it hit $167. It pumped back up here to almost 500. Everyone said, ha, you missed it. You missed the bottom in April. You missed it. You'll never get below $400 again. It's going to go to 1,000, whatever, right? And then what does it do? The market gives you another chance. So I don't like that language at all, Vincent, where you say the last chance. Okay. There's always another chance. Trading is like waiting at a train station. Let's say you miss your train. There's going to be another train coming to the station to get you to your destination. So, yeah, in terms of that question, that's how I'm going to answer it. I don't think there's any chances missed or whatever. You get what I'm trying to say, right? So, that's that. Let's see. We have Kelly3845 saying we're in false move Monday territory. Could make a big move. False move Monday territory. Kelly, is that a bearish posture you have that I'm sensing out right now? A false move here, or is this a false? You're saying a false bearish move to make us end up pumping? Because what I'm seeing, again, for anyone joining in late right now, here's Bitcoin on the 1 hour time frame. And Bitcoin on the 1 hour time frame from last Wednesday, we've been chopping around in this range. Here we have a unsuspecting Sunday pump where we run the highs of the range and we immediately reject right back into it. So in my opinion, this was the false move right now. And I do suspect us to actually continue downwards unless we get saved by the weekly candle close. And it closes, like I said, like above 108, above those highs from December 16th and 17th. But there's all types of false moves and manipulation happening out there in the charts. That is for sure. I just realized we haven't even looked at Ethereum today, guys. So let's take a look at ETH right now. Before we even get into any of these random lower market cap memes and altcoins, whatever, we need to take a look at Ethereum. So here's ETH, daily time frame. It's pretty exciting, huh? A lot has been happening the past week, as we can see. Some crazy volatility in both directions. We have about a $20 spread. But anyways, there's the weekly supply zone that price needs to get through. All right. We wicked into that once at around 25.20 earlier in the week, and that saw a rejection from that weekly supply level. And from that rejection, which happened on Thursday, absolutely nothing has happened on Ethereum. So what needs to happen? Well, if we're going to be bullish, we obviously need to clear this weekly supply zone. Okay, that's a given. That's an absolute given. The most ideal situation would just be a close above this level at 2550, which, as you can see, no weekly candle has been able to close above that. So it would be a great start to see Ethereum be able to close above 2550. And more importantly, I think if it can actually get above 2800 is this resistance, we're going to gap up very hard, right, to the yearly open at 33, but then also up here to 3600. If we can get above the highs at $2,800, but we're obviously still pretty, we're not far from it in terms of percentage, but it's Ethereum, right? It's been a letdown every time it tries to break out. So we're kind of far from it in terms of morale and hope is a better word or description to use on the current situation. Now, that's to the upside. Okay, that's the bullish stuff. What about the bearish stuff? What if we do actually see USDT dominance make a move up here to 5%, which again is a daily supply zone? Right, what if we see that happen? What's going to happen to Ethereum? Well, what may be happening is we either come back towards the weekly open at 2200 or we finally take the $2,000 level. Remember, this $2,000 level, it's a 4-day. This was a supply zone. However, price gapped through it essentially and left behind a fair value gap. And it left this level inside here on Ethereum. Okay, so that's why we have $2,000 marked on ETH. And yeah, this is still untested. It's untaken. Okay, it could just get left behind and we could see Ethereum pump right up, and clear 2,800 and go to 3,500 tomorrow. But the fact that $2,000 is untaken, if we do see a move down, I would be looking for that. Okay, there's obviously no guarantee that it will come, that it will happen, but that's a logical level to look for price to retrace into currently, as it is the freshest, juiciest liquidity spot lower on the chart on the higher time frames. That is, and the higher the time frames, the more reliable the technical analysis. So that's ETH. Let's go through some news right now, guys. So we have David Sachs, who is the White House crypto and AI czar. He said July will be a big month. Okay, there's going to be the bill signing for the Genius Clarity and the Clarity bill going to the Senate, right? So some big stuff is going to get approved. And all these bills are basically cash injections from the government into basically like private sector contracts and things like that. But a lot of private investments and a lot of money will move with the signing of these bills. So with that, we also, this is just today, not too long ago at all, the Senate has voted to proceed with the One Big Beautiful bill, which is Trump's new thing. And of course, Trump wants to put a lot of stuff through. And with that, we had Elon come right out. And Elon said that Trump's One Big Beautiful bill will destroy millions of jobs and harm the U.S. Okay, so Trump and Elon, apparently they're on better terms now. Trump called him, Trump said that he'll do well, no matter what. It's Elon Musk, but some of the stuff that he said was inappropriate. But Elon just continues to speak his mind, and he says that it's going to lead to a lot of destruction for jobs and harm the U.S. So still a lot of contradiction between these two. Is it all theater? Who knows? But that's the situation. The One Big Beautiful bill is going to get approved and passed, which means a lot of funding basically for a lot of different ventures connected to the government. Now, moving on. One more reason right now that I'm exercising some caution is we have had Michael Saylor come out of the woodwork again. He came out of the woodworks today, June 29th. And what did he say? He said that in 21 years, you'll wish you had bought more. Okay, looking at his portfolio, he's currently holding $64.2 billion in Bitcoin, almost $64.3 billion in Bitcoin. But yeah, Michael Saylor is telling everyone that you should buy now on a Sunday with price in an extreme premium at resistance, stalling at resistance, unable to reclaim. And we also just swept the highs on this Sunday scam pump. Right, we swept the highs and we're right back to where we started. And we have Michael Saylor telling people that they should buy more Bitcoin. So a lot of hints right now to be a little bit cautious. This stuff is pretty sus if you ask me. And I'm just seeing, or I'm just telling you what the charts are saying right now, especially on, I mean, just look at that rejection, okay? It would be crazy if we just immediately pumped right through this now, but it's happened, okay? So, but the way things are pointing right now, it's lower. Let's see what else is going on here, guys. By the way, let's look at Saylor's account, and you can see that tweet that he put out himself 4 hours ago. Saylor is shilling Bitcoin. So we have Alex Becker. Alex Becker has taken on the role of a comedian, okay? He understands that his crypto market analysis is not well received, so he's just taken the role now of a comedian or a court gesture or a clown when it comes to crypto, that is. So anyways, he says, July, gentlemen. Everyone holding altcoins from here is about to get storybook rich. Congrats to the few men who survived to this point. The pie is completely ours. Now, I'm reading this tweet today because I laughed out loud when I read it before this live stream, especially the last line where he says the pie is completely ours. If you look at Alex Becker's Twitter feed, all he's been doing since, like, I don't even know when, January, February of this year, the past 6 months, every single day he tweets that altcoins are just going to pump and everyone's going to be filthy rich, whatever, whatever, whatever. Every single day this year. All that's happened is that altcoins have gone down since he's been doing this. So here's a funny meme that Bold Leonidas drew. Here's Alex Becker over here on the left. First time, alt season soon. Everyone's all happy. Second time, alt season soon. Thumbs up, yeah. Sounds good. Third time, alt season soon. You know, we're starting to get a little bit of the boy who cried wolf vibes over here. This guy's just keeps on saying the same thing and the opposite things keeps on happening. And the fourth time's the charm, as they say. Alt season soon. Everyone's just like, please stop it. Just STFU. That's the exact situation. Great meme here by Bold Leonidas. Well-drawn comic. And, yeah, I mean, that's definitely the current situation. Let's see. It's so interesting. Who he chooses to engage with and retweet. Yeah. I mean, all he continues to say is alt season. Is alt season going to happen? Well, let's discuss. Bitcoin dominance right now. Bitcoin dominance on the weekly. Dominance on the weekly right now is it's a doji candle. It's a bit undecided, but what happened was we took 66%. We finally took 66%. So we are certainly in contention right now for calling the top on Bitcoin dominance. We're in contention, but there's no confirmation of it. And there's going to be the people that say if you wait for confirmation, 50% of the move will already have passed. So, I mean, you're a fool if you wait for confirmation because, you know, so much will already happen by the time it's confirmed. Yeah. But what if it just wants to continue to go up and take 66.5% or 67%, which if you look on the 1 month, I mean, one could say that, or let's look at the 3 week or the 4 week. So on the 3 week, there's this. And it's not much, but it's there. That's up to 67. On the 2 week, same level. And on the 1 week, so it's not like there's anything above this current spot here on Bitcoin dominance. The reason this spot right now is so significant is because there's a level here, but it's not like there's any levels higher. Okay. So anyways, for Bitcoin dominance, yes, we're close to topping, but we don't have confirmation of it just yet. So is altcoin season soon? Could be, but there's absolutely no confirmation in the current moment in time that it's starting. So let's keep an eye on it, basically. And when it's confirmed, I'll be sure to let you know, but it's just not confirmed right now. By the way, guys, I will be on a Twitter Spaces or an X Spaces this Tuesday at 12 noon Eastern Standard Time. I'll be live with Treble Swap as well as Mr. Miggles. All right, so I'm making my way onto the scene right now when it comes to base, and I'll be on a Spaces with Treb as well as Mr. Miggles. So that's pretty exciting. Add it to your calendar, and if you're on X and you're not following me by now, definitely go ahead and change that at CCell Crypto. Go ahead and hit that follow button. As you can see, we did have to settle for the blue check mark, as we were not able to get our gold check mark. After submitting around 5 or 6 different applications, we just went with the blue one instead. It is what it is. Also, when it comes to altcoin season, you need the total 3, you need the total 2, you need the total to pump. So here's the total 3. This is the crypto market cap excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum. All right, so as of right now, what's taken place here is when Elon and Trump had their beef, and then we had the Iran bombing, we saw the total 3 come down to $750 billion again, 752, and that marked a pretty important low. Now, this is a wide zone. Okay, really, it's definitely there on the weekly. Right, we can even get technical here, and on the weekly say that this is a partial weekly demand because it already got taken here with this wick. Okay, and this starts at around 734 billion. So there's a chance now that we now see these come deeper into these demand levels on the higher time frames. Or if Alex Becker is going to be correct, we're just going to blast off to the moon tomorrow. Okay, what's more likely to happen? If you guys have been in crypto now at this point, if you've been watching this market, you've been trading this market, you've been buying, you've been selling, you've been active, you have a gauge for price, you have your pulse on price action. What's more likely to happen, do you think? An explosive bullish breakout, making everyone rich, or a move lower into demand, which would mean a move lower on coins, and then maybe we pump? If you've been following along, obviously scenario number 2 is more likely to happen. When do we ever get the major explosive breakout? Of course, I'm saying this now. It's probably going to happen. But there's so many times I'm in a long trade, and I'm talking to myself in my head. I'm like, this is it. This is the bull market, legendary long. All I got to do is hold on to this one, and I'm set. It never works. It just never works, okay? If you're praying for the big breakout, understand the probability of it actually happening is pretty low, okay? There is a day where it will come, but I don't think that that day is going to be this upcoming week. But yeah, how many times if you guys are trading, you know, you've definitely been there. You get a great entry, you wait, price crashes into demand, you get an entry, and you tell yourself, I just got to hold this trade. This is the bull market long. I'll be fine. No way price comes back down. What does it do? It typically comes back down. But anyways, let me see what else is going on here in our chat, guys. So we had a question about seamless. I'm just going to look at this chart really quick. I haven't checked it. So this is seamless protocol. We have an altcoin request for seamless. And the chart looks pretty bleak, okay? So this thing launched in 2023, and it never really performed apart from the launch week. All right, this is the weekly time frame. It just made a new low, and it's still trading below the previous low. So I mean, look, if you're bullish on this coin, you might say that you want to, that this is like an extreme discount because this chart sold off like 99%. And the downtrend shifted to the sideways now, and you just swept the low. So if you're bullish on it, maybe you try here while you're still below this 38-cent low from the 9th of March or the 10th of March. But I have no idea what this coin is. The chart looks really really weak. I'd have to assume it's a pretty low cap coin. All right, I'm sorry I even looked at this coin. Guys, please don't tell me to look at a coin that has $226,000 in 24-hour trading volume. $226,000 of trading volume in the past 24 hours. Nobody trades this coin. And it's listed on Coinbase. Yeah, I got nothing to say about Seamless. So let's look at some of these other altcoins right now. So Aave is trading really range bound. Okay, so on the weekly, we have this range. Okay. We're actually, I'm going to draw it a little bit more better, or a little bit better, a little bit more better. I'm going to draw this a little bit better. I'm going to take my range from this weekly low to this weekly high on the candle close. I'm going to take my range measurement 50%. I'm going to go back to the daily time frame. And I'm going to make sure that we can clearly see the range high and the range low. And we're going to make it thicker. Okay? So we have the range low down here. And we have the weekly, remember the weekly, taking these candle closures. I'm just using a resistance level on the weekly time frame. Okay, so we have that as the range high. Where is price currently right now? We're at the range high. What is the range high? Is that support or resistance? It's resistance. So, is Aave at did Aave pump into resistance on a Sunday? Yes or no? Yes, it did. Does that warrant some caution? Yes or no? Yes, it does warrant some caution if price pumps into resistance on a Sunday. So to be bullish right now, if the weekly was to close above this range high and above like 274 and $274.82, okay, that would be nice. That could give us some hope that this thing's actually going to pump. If the weekly was to close above this, it's very close. But as of right now, you know, we are trading below it. We are trading at resistance. So I'm just going to make the warning very clear. I would be careful of rejection here. I would be careful of a rejection. And we know the level lower we want, if given. That's going to be down here at $206. We're currently trading for $270. So that would be a move to make a lot of people panic for sure. And this could happen across the board on many altcoins. Okay, this is just one setup. But yeah, it's very clear. Okay, look at the weekly. Look at where all these weekly candles are closing. Obviously resistance. Obviously support down here. We're at resistance. Resistance can break. It certainly can. Do you think it will? If you think this resistance is going to break, well, then you should be long. And I want to make it very clear. I don't think it's a good idea whatsoever to open up a long trade right now at resistance. I think that's a horrible idea. Okay, but if you're bullish, you're expecting this to break, which is perfectly fine, right? You do what you want to do. You do what you think is right. You do what you think is the best for you and going to make you money and grow your trading account. I don't think the resistance is going to break. I do not. We got people asking about Luby. I'm not going to look at it. I just don't care about Luby. I've never heard of it in my life. And the short description you wrote about it makes me not want to look at it, saying that it's a famous artist drew it and all that. How many times have we heard something like that? How many times has a famous artist drew a meme after Matt Fury came along? We got a super chat from Coin Operated. He says, #1 fan. My man Coin Operated in the building. Thank you for the super chat, man. I really appreciate that. And no question with that. So I really appreciate that, man. Stacy Lewis says, my hair is looking slick today. Is it now, Stacy? Thank you. I guess I'm having a good hair day, but yeah, I didn't really pay too much attention to it, but I feel it feels good hearing you say that. Thank you. We have someone asking about Pepe. Shout out to Rigoberto as well. What's up, Rigo? Good to see you. So, talk about a weaker coin. Talk about a coin that's really not showing much resolve whatsoever currently. Look on the daily. This is the support resistance flip level, which every coin kind of has its equivalent, but all right, this level where you had a support bounce, and then it broke through. It came back up and it put in a bearish retest. It broke down. Came back up and put in another bearish retest, another move lower. All right, so this level, this is like 0.0040 zeros and then a 1 and then a 0.3885. That's your major support resistance flip level on Pepe. All right, so basic. To be bullish, what needs to happen? It needs to trade above the previous swing high. I'm going to constitute this as the previous swing high. All right, on the daily time frame, that is the candle high from Friday, the 20th of June. Chart doesn't look good at all. Okay. The chart doesn't look good. In my opinion, the trade is, if any, there's really, I'm not seeing much of a trade, but if there's anything, it would be to basically, if price was to move into resistance, look to short it. Right, just the fact that it's been unable to reclaim, it lost this level, okay? Here on the daily, we had money come in, money left a little bit, then we had a huge influx of money come into this coin. And then in late May, topped on the day that Bitcoin topped on Pizza Day. Or no, sorry, this was the conference curse, I believe. No, this was Pizza Day, the 22nd. The conference was on the 29th. This was this fake wick over here. Pizza Day was over here at the top. And the conference curse was the icing on the cake. But yeah, anyways, since then, money's just been leaving this. Been leaving and leaving and leaving and leaving. Okay, so when money leaves, before we see an explosive move up, breakout, right? Look at what's happened when money's left in the past. It usually has to go sideways for a bit, like here and here. Two recent examples that are very similar structure-wise to what we're seeing right now. Okay, if you don't believe me, look at it in your own chart. It's not like I'm making this up in real time. This is very similar to the way this has played out previously on the left side of the chart. So, yeah, I mean, the only trade I'm really seeing here is basically short resistance. I think if we're going to pump, it probably has to consolidate like it has every single time in the past before it could actually, put in a substantial move higher. Even this time, it broke out and then it retested the breakout and then it pumped. This was the election pump. And then over here in April and May, double bottoms, breaks out, pulls back into a key level, and then pumps. Right now, we just have a downtrend with no basing at all. So I would expect more chop and probably lower for now. It just looks really underwhelming and weak. Shout out to Debo Brown. What up, Debo Brown 336? It's good to see you. Bearish on all alts. Rigo, yeah. So, I mean, look. I don't think it's wise to have an incongruency. I've talked about this. You're either bullish or you're bearish. And it's just not looking great. Shout out to this guy here. I don't know his name because his name is unreadable. This guy, HE5HYY. He says that he always appreciates the content, keeping it real, even when he wants me to be ultra bullish. By the way, guys, hit that like button. 100 people watching, 40 likes. That's a very weak ratio. Smash the like button right now. Thank you for all of your support. But yeah, I mean, it's tough. And you guys, I want you to think what you want in terms of market direction and your bias, okay? Just take it level by level. All right, you can long, you can short level by level, and you don't necessarily need to be fully bullish or fully bearish. Obviously, if you're just holding coins, then you need to be bullish all the time. But if you're a trader, you need to have fluidity. You need to be able to, you know, kind of seesaw back and forth. And that's why it's just, if you have your levels marked, you just trade off of those. And it takes away the emotionality of picking a stance on being ultra bullish or ultra bearish on the major macro direction of things. But yeah, if we were to be ultra bullish, I think that a weekly candle close would have to come in this week below this demand, below 4.78%. More likely we see this move up towards 5%, which means a pullback for the market. Shout out to Manny Adichie. What's up, Manny Adichie? Glad that you can catch the live stream. We got Vincent saying the market's going sideways, surprising on a Sunday. Is the market waiting for Trump's next tantrum or for summer's low demand? Even XRP feels depressed even after the last news on the lawsuit settlement. So what's the market waiting for? If you just go off of the charts, just going off of the charts, what is the market waiting for? Real strength, maybe. Bitcoin dominance drop. USDT dominance drop. No, but seriously, it's kind of a loaded question per se. Maybe another black swan is in the cards. Who really knows? But it would be a nice excuse for things to go lower. Here's XRP. And XRP on the daily now is not looking horrible per se. But it's also not looking great. Reason I say it's not looking horrible, you know, we had the orange box over here. We had the weekly pivot level down here at 190, which hit over here on the 22nd of June. But, you know, we're just kind of in the middle of this massive conglomerate range. Okay, this is just a big range-bound area. I mean, you're back above the monthly open. You're back outside of the orange box. So that's why I say it's not looking horrible. But, you know, you're at resistance at the same accord. Here's the 12-hour time frame. And the 12-hour looks pretty wacky. In the sense where you dumped, you pumped right back up to resistance, and yeah, I mean, you have to break this level. A weekly close here isn't really that bullish, to be honest with you. We are technically in a fresh weekly supply zone. Okay, I'm just seeing this now. I mean, this is a weekly supply zone. There's too much going on here in the chart, though, so it's resistance. What do you do at resistance? Do you long or short? You short. Manny Adichie says TA on Tau. Good level to buy now? No. I think for Tau, your level to buy is going to be down here at 240. We're at 340 now. And reason I say it's not a good level to buy now is because the chart is weak. All right. Again, I've talked about this a lot, but I'll just do it again for Manny. Draw a line on your chart at $350. Okay. If you draw that line at 350, you'll notice that it's a big support resistance flip level. price likes the level. Recently, on the 5th of June, we bounced from 350. We produced a lower high. We come back into 350. We bounced, produce another lower high at 391. From there, we spill over. We break through that support at 350. And on Monday or Tuesday, we come back and we retest 350 and we reject off of it again. So basically what happened here was price flipped a support level into resistance and validated it by retesting it. So no, it's not a good level to buy in my opinion. It's a really weak coin currently. There's money leaving. And yeah, in my opinion, if anything, I would be looking for shorts if it spikes back up to 360, 350. Because, and by the way, it's a very easy invalidation, right? It's a very easy invalidation if you want to short this thing. It's not like you're going to be holding this thing short all the way up to 1,000 if that happens, okay? You would put your stop in these general levels. Okay, so you'd be risking like 4 or 5% for a potential 10 to 30% swing down. All right, so that's what I mean when I say like look for shorts. I'm not saying you got to hold the thing. You obviously use a stop loss. And it's such an easy invalidation, right? Back over here to something like Aave too, which pumped a bit higher as we can see. Kind of looks like it wants to snap and go. But nonetheless, that's what always happens when a coin pumps up to resistance, okay? You always get scared. But it's an easy invalidation. It's a very easy invalidation. I mean, depending on which wick you want to take. This is 2%. Okay, if you were to take this wick, it would be 3%. It's like the moves on this thing, I would still take that 2%. And yeah, I mean, okay, 2-3% for a 25% swing if this works out and we get this 3-day level, right? If you look on the 3-day, you have this order block inside of a fair value gap untested. All right, if price is to take that liquidity, maybe it happens from this. Maybe, we'll see. But again, it's all easy invalidations. And if the market pumps, cool. I mean, it's not like I'm unexposed. It's just what I'm seeing to likely play out here. We got a super chat right now. We got a super chat coming in from Angel. What is up, Angel? Good to see you. He says, Connor, is a good entry on treble. How high can go? Look, for treble, it's a $2.3 million market cap coin. So how high can it go? I think it can go really high, all right? In terms of a number, I'm not really sure. I'm not going to give out arbitrary numbers. I just know it's such a low market cap. It does have the potential to go to 10 million, 20 million, 30, 50, maybe even 100 million plus, okay? It wouldn't be the strangest thing that has happened in the crypto market. Is now a good level. Is now a good entry. It's pretty funny how these order blocks and fair value gaps, supply and demand, they work on every single chart. All right, 2 million market cap, 200 billion market cap. It doesn't matter. Same TA applies, same concepts apply. It's the same stuff. But what you had on the daily here is a fair value gap with this previous supply zone left behind, and that ended up being the bottom at 35 cents. Okay. So at this point in time, I mean, buyers are clearly, the buyers are stepping in here at this level. All right, which is why price is unable to go lower currently. Yeah, I think off of this support, I don't think it's a horrible entry at all. 35 cents is the lowest level, is that order block. Now, below, back to the 3-day. On the 3-day, I would say this entire area is going to be demand. Okay, and this goes down to 33 cents. So technically, the buy zone is 35 to 33 cents. That's a 3-day demand zone. And coin operated, my man. I do apologize. I see you right now asking for Blaze. We will look at that. I just did not see that. Yeah, you didn't put it in the super chat, which is why I missed it. But yeah, just a miscommunication. But anyways, Angel, hope that helps, man. That's Treb. Let's take a look at Blaze on base for a guy coin operated. Thank you for that super chat earlier, man. So this is a man's dream. Okay, this is a man's dream, right? To be able to catch a coin in this market at 50K market cap, right? In 2025, second half, to be able to catch a coin at a 56K market cap and ride it up here in 6 days, 75x to 4.2 million. That's a man's dream right there. It went up 90x in 3 days originally. It's currently up 75x in 6 days. Now, coin operated. I'm not sure what the question is about this thing. I'm not sure. Is it a good buy now? I probably wouldn't say it's a good buy now because it's up 75x in 6 days, and there's people that were buyers 75x lower that, you know, it's just every dollar that comes in, they can, you know, they bought their token 75x lower in price. So LV Lady 83 says people are saying they can't cash out on Blaze. So that's what's called a honeypot. I don't know if that's true, but apparently it's not a honeypot by deck screener standards. There is a 2% buy and sell tax, but it's apparently not a honeypot. But yeah, I mean, it could be. Maybe there's a workaround that these malicious people know about. Let's check out their Twitter. Nothing really I'm seeing there on Twitter to give me any information. I got nothing to say about this coin. I would be very careful about it. It's up 75x in a few days. It's straight up. You could hop into this thing right now and it might pump up to 10 million and you can make it 2.5x. That's a total gamble. Okay, a chart that is up 75x in 5 days, 6 days, no matter how you look at it, if you're a buyer, you are gambling your money, and that's it. So, hey, if you guys want to gamble, I would rather just, you know, wait for, if I wanted to gamble, right, I would wait for a UFC fight night that I want to place bets on. For example, like earlier, we just had Ilia Topuria knock out Charles Oliveira. And a lot of great fights, right? If I wanted to gamble, instead of buying some shit coin called Blaze, I would probably want to enjoy myself a little bit more and piss away money at something stupid, like putting money on a fight. That's me, though, okay? I know some people have the mentality that they're going to get rich on a meme coin, so they choose to gamble on those. But if I'm gambling, I know I'm gambling, and I'm going to enjoy it, not pray and stress myself out that some meme coin is going to pump to the moon for me. But anyways, coin operated. That's what I think about Blaze, man. I'm curious if you already got in, if you have a position from much lower, or what. We have a question from Glaucus. He says, regarding Caspa, any thoughts on wallet number 2, which is between MEXC and Uphold when Coinbase or Binance listing? No thoughts on wallet number 2. I don't know who that entity is. But let's look at the Caspa spot chart. So on Caspa, on the 1 month, the optimal level on Caspa is still 5 cents down to 3 cents. Okay, this is the optimal buy zone. Down here, 5 cents to 3 cents. Okay, it's been slightly hit over here in April, but really it front ran the level that I was waiting for, below 5. But yeah, I'm not sure who that entity is, who that wallet is, but I think there will be a great opportunity for Caspa. Whether that's soon, whether that's in the depth of the next bear market, whenever. But I think Caspa is going to stick around and have an epic run up again. If we time it right, if we time it correctly and manage to get in at the lows, I think it's going to provide multiples. But right now, just play it level by level, right? That's why we also take a different view on it, right? Not on the spot chart, but the perps chart. Get a different view on things, and currently it's just like all the other coins where it lost the pivot and it hasn't reclaimed it. It's just weak. It's just another weak coin currently. All right, here's that support level that all the other coins have. You see, kept on bouncing from it. It broke through it, came in, retested it bearishly, and it's unable to reclaim. So for Caspa to be bullish right now, it has to claim the previous swing high, which is up at 9.2 cents. Below 9.2 cents, no reason to be bullish. If it was to reclaim 9.2, we look to buy that pullback, because it probably will pump up here. If it does clear 9.2 cents, it will be a big explosive green breakout candle, which will likely leave behind a fair value gap. So we'll probably have something, or just a fresh demand zone to look to long on the pullback from there. But we don't have that just yet. So this is still bearish. And with BTC now, guys, remember, for Bitcoin, we really need to see a weekly candle close above, in my opinion, the high from the 16th of December on the weekly. Okay, we want to close above that. It's around $108,000. That's coming in later tonight. If we can't do that, it's really not a great look. It's not a great sign. Again, on the 1 hour time frame. On the 1 hour time frame, we swept the highs and we're back in the range. Bit of a manipulative Sunday pump, and that's why we have our level at 102 right here on the 12 hour. That's why we got this bad boy marked out. All right, so mark that one out on your own. Let's see. Coin Operated said he's doing pull-ups, push-ups, and dips watching the live stream. Let's go. Let's go, brother. We love to hear that. So Kobe put out this tweet earlier today. And for some reason, all of crypto Twitter is retweeting this. But June 29th, I got to get in shape now. Too much sitting has ruined my body. How relatable is that to people watching this live stream all around the world in crypto? Has too much sitting ruined your body? Not Coin Operated, because he's banging out his push-ups and his pull-ups and his dips, what he needs to do. I know for myself, if you guys remember, I did have some shoulder problems, right? Dislocations, things like that. I went to work, man. I rehabbed for months. It was boring. It was slow. At times it felt pointless, but I kept showing up to the rehabilitation, right? I got my rotator cuff crazy strong. That can support my labrum that's been torn with the dislocation. But yeah, this was me like a few months ago, basically. But we've been putting in work, man. I hope you guys are putting in work too. Do what you got to do to feel good. Get your ass off of the chair and go outside. I started running as well. I played basketball so when I was younger, but now I'm like truly running like a fighter. So yeah, I mean, we're getting after it, man. When's the next match? Not sure. Really no idea. I'm just training and I'm enjoying the training. But anyways, guys, with that being said, that's all I got for right now. All right, so keep your eyes on those charts. Keep your eyes on the levels we have marked. And we'll see what this new week gives us. Bitcoin's got to save the day. Bitcoin's got to close the week strong. If it doesn't, well, the charts are already bearish. So I wouldn't be surprised at all to see some continuation lower. We got some time until the weekly close. So yeah, we'll see what happens. And I'll see you all tomorrow. Have an amazing Sunday. Have an amazing rest of your weekend. My name is Connor from Crypto Empire, and I'll see you in the next video. Have a great day.